Welcome, folks, to the Community Curation podcast. I am your host, the Gothic Storyteller, and with us today is Bunnibana. Welcome in, Bunny.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for once, Gothic actually got his audio shit correctly, and we got a really good intro. You guys can hear Bunny. We did that accidentally for Nikki, and I was like, ah, shit, I fucked that up. But welcome in, folks. Welcome in and everything. Today we have a very interesting guest here. We brought on another lovely VTuber, Bunnibana, right here with us. And her films today, one of them definitely made me cry, but the other one definitely made me fall in love with a specific filmmaker. As we get to those films, you guys will probably understand why Bunny picked those, as well as my love for a very specific filmmaker. We have mentioned him plenty of times, and I actually have a really, really big question for Bunny. When we reach that status, we'll kind of test her mettle over her film film history, I guess it would be, or more like film knowledge and everything. No pressure whatsoever. But first off, Bunny, who are you?
Oh, okay. Well, I am Bunnibana. You can call me Bunny, Bunnibana, or Banana if you're feeling fruity. I I always tell people that because people mistake my name, especially the last part, and call me Banana. And I just started to go along with that. And I was like, oh, what if I start saying the last part as banana if you're feeling fruity? So that's where I coined that term from. But Bunnibana is a Pyro Sakura bunny who lives a double life as a secretary for her best friend at his infamous tavern by daylight, and as a singer and entertainer at her underground burrow, the Bana Beans, at nighttime. So that's my little backstory there. Streamer-wise, I do a lot of variety, mainly FPS, and lots of comfy, chaotic variety, with the little comfy indie in between so I don't crash out. And I love to sing a lot in between to entertain my babies.
I could definitely sit there and tell you love your shooters and everything, Overwatch and Marvel Rivals.
I
Those
do.
tend to always be the days that I pop in and it's all like, oh, she's playing Overwatch again. It's like things may get a little toxic.
Just a little bit when I start like crashing out in Spanish. Don't mind that. Don't you didn't hear it. Don't worry.
I'm the old man here. What does crashing out mean?
Oh, exactly. You see, exactly. You get it. You get it.
Yeah. Oh, is that what that is? It's crashing out. It's like trains leaving the rails. Is that what crashing out is?
Oh, it's totally derailed. Absolutely. And then we just swerve it back into place.
Oh, you're supposed to swerve back into place. I just stay off the fucking rails. Once I'm off, I never get the fuck back on. I'm sorry. How long have you been streaming on Twitch?
So overall, I've been a streamer for 2.5 years, but my current journey as Bunnibana has been 1 year and 9 months, and my 2-year anniversary will be at the end of May 20th, I think.
So you didn't start off with the Bunnibana character. Do you mind sharing what was your first character, I guess, that you created?
My first one was it was in my past, but it was a persona I wasn't happy with. And I made a lot of mistakes back then in that persona, and I was pushed by a former friend to start fresh and start over because streaming is a passion of mine. So I started over in May of 2023, and that's how long I've been doing it for now.
Oh, okay. You mentioned that streaming was like a passion. What got you into that passion?
So there are a lot of like major corporations for VTubing. One of them is called HoloLive. I used to watch those. I still do from time to time. Now I support all of my friends fully at the current moment, but I would always watch bigger streamers like Kalaya P. Mori and Gaogura, Hakos, Bales, and these are all from Hololive, and that's what pushed me to want to start being a VTuber, and that's kind of how I started my journey. But I started as a PNG tuber because having a model is very expensive. This is definitely an investment. So starting off with a PNG is a lot more affordable, a lot cheaper, and you can develop a community and your personality a lot better that way.
I'm learning a whole lot about the VTuber community. Like, you're not the first one I've interviewed, but like, you're the one that to me has a very deep knowledge of, you know, I guess the big VTubers, and Hololive, which is a platform all on its own, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I have a lot more knowledge than people think I do. They just don't ask.
And then bam, you're whipping it out. Like, there you go. It's right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They don't call me the secretary for nothing. This is not just a bit.
Ooh, I like that and everything. What is your favorite VTuber? Let's ask that heavy question.
Oh boy, that's hard. I
That's what
guess
she said.
that right. I guess big VTuber wise, oh, that's so difficult. Iron Mouse is definitely one of them.
Okay.
But if I'm being honest, I don't really watch bigger streamers often because I'm really supporting my friends and they can tell you themselves that I'm in their streams more than anything. Like, oh boy, there's so many of them. Xanadu 2K is one of my favorites. He's my best friend and pushed me to start streaming. He also is the one that helped create my name, Bunnibana. Silver Blossom is one of my bestest friends, my soulmate, my other half. I love her so much. She's one of my comfy streamers. Kua and Sativa and Lucian and Tori. I have like it's my friends that are like my favorite streamers because they're like my safe space and they give me comfort. Like I could go down the list. We would be here forever if I told you all of my favorite streamers. So like my favorite, like especially my favorite VTubers specifically. So that's a very loaded question, but it would be my friends that are my favorites because they push me to be a better person and also a better streamer, and they give me a sense of calm that nobody else does.
Okay. I can get behind that and everything. Like, I don't really watch too many big streamers. Like, to me, I think like a big streamer is someone that can definitely rally triple digit views and everything like that, like the partners and everything. So like I always tend to chill out with the ones that support me and everything. Like I'm always somewhere
Nah,
in
me too.
Layla's community and everything, and it's funny because like everyone knows me and I'm all like I feel like a Twitch hoe. It's like, wow, everyone knows me. They're like, I know Gothic, and it's all like, oh my god, I get around a lot.
I guess that would be me too. So you go in a Twitch chat and you end up like seeing someone, they're like, hey, I know you, and I was like, oh shit, hey, how's it going?
And then I have some people that are all like, oh hey Gothic, what's up? And I'm all like, do I know you? Like, did you change your name? It's all like, because that's happened. And they're like, oh, I know you from Layla's chat or from Myths. And it's like, oh, I remember you. We had that one conversation that one time 2 years ago. Yes, I know you. Like, yeah, it's like it all slowly starts to come back in.
Right.
When it comes to it, I do agree with you. Like, supporting like your friends that also support you, and like, I just kind of prefer to be around like the small streamers and everything because like, it just feels like I connect with them so easily. And like I don't know, I always feel like when it gets like the big ones, it's like it always kind of feels like, wow, like, you kind of get like a little left behind, but it's not their fault and everything, because there's so many people in here chatting, want to chat with them, so they got to kind of
Right.
become a little chat blind and everything. They can't say hi to everyone, and then they always say, well, if you want me to read your message, just send it again. And I used to thought that was annoying, and I was like, yeah, no, I totally understand this now. I understand the reason behind that. One of the many things you do on your stream is you do singing and everything, and I always
Mhm.
enjoy listening to you sing. When did you started implementing that, and what made you want to be a singer? Because I have told my friends that you have tried out numerous times for The Voice. Yes,
Oh
right?
yeah, 7
Was it The
times.
Voice? How many?
Yes, I've auditioned 7 times.
Hell fucking yeah. Tell us about that. What
Oh
got you into
boy.
it?
So, the I've always sang on stream as a redeem, but I didn't start implementing the song list and singing for raids until I came back from my hiatus in May of last year, because I took like a 2-month break, which was my longest break ever. I kind of hated it because I got the itch so many times to stream. But that's when I started implementing the whole song list. And during that 2-month break, I added over 500 songs by myself to that list. And
Oh my god.
never again. I was so stressed out. Holy fuck. But as far as singing goes, I started singing. It was more of like a happy accident, if I'm being honest. I started singing when I was a junior in high school, I think.
Like choir
Yeah.
class?
Yeah, I was in when I was 16, 17, I believe. When did I write this down? Yeah. So I've been singing for, oh, it's been, we're going on 10 years now. Jeez, that's been a long time.
Congratulations. Like,
Thank
10
you.
years, and you do sound amazing. Like, there are moments where I do have to stop working, and it's like, I'm just going to listen. And it's like, that's all. It's kind of like, in one of the movies you mentioned, when like the teacher listens to the one student who's trying out for the theater, and he listens to her sing, and he's like, all like, yep, that's it. It's like that almost.
Oh, I remember. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We're trying not to
Oh,
spoil the
yeah.
movies yet.
Yeah, we won't spoil it yet, guys, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Um, I the story behind me, Lisa, is oh, I still I wrote it down like specifically because I've it's kind of like a heart tugger for me.
Mm-hmm.
So singing was a happy accident for me. I actually grew up as a band kid. Fun fact, I played the flute when I was a kid, and I started in middle school. But I had a knack for sight reading like a little too well. So I knew how to like read the notes perfectly fine and also sing them. And I also would always love it when my dad would sing for us. We would do karaoke nights every Friday. And he passed away when I was 16. And that's when I actually started doing choir immediately after that, because I wanted to carry that on. I never really mentioned this to anybody, but I'm the only one in my family that's like as artistic as my dad was. When it comes to music, when it comes to art or anything like that, I got all of that from him. So I wanted to carry that on somehow. So I joined choir, and then I managed to get into a musical months after, and I got a lead part. Right after that, I managed to get into regional and state honor choir in my senior year, and I got a bunch of other accolades for that too. And now it's the backbone of my streams because for me, singing to me is the air I breathe, and it's the only thing in this world that brings me joy if everything else was taken away from me. And I'll always get solace from that and always will.
Oh. Now, there's so much I want to really jump in this film, but you have so much of a backstory and everything. Just telling that story, I was like, now I know why she picked that one movie. That's, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. It's all coming together now.
And when you mentioned that, yeah, from like your family, you're the only one that, you know, has like, you know, this whole huge creative endeavor. You're also into voice acting and writing. How long have you been doing those two?
So for writing, for writing, I have been writing since I've been writing for on and off for 16 years, but it's more like a hobby. I kind of like I used to be like a Wattpad kid. I did have a Wattpad phase. I still have 2 of them, but it was mainly for writing like fan fictions and for my like favorite anime and video games. One of my favorite fanfics I wrote was for Detroit Become Human. I wrote a tragic backstory on how, if anyone knows, Hank's son Cole in the video game, on how he died because he died in a car crash. But I wrote a very detailed scene on how he did, and why Hank was so cold and stuff like that. So is it definitely a hobby I want to like rekindle, and I have been, because I actually ended up writing my own lore again for my debut that's coming up in a couple weeks. So I love writing. I've always have been, but it kind of stemmed from me loving poetry, and I've always had a passion for storytelling. So I know, like, I love stories. It started from me actually having a passion for reading, because I've always had my nose in a book as a kid because I've been bullied like my whole life. So when I didn't have any friends, I would always, my form of escapism, if it wasn't video games, it was reading. And that's how I have like all of these stories and creativity, like, you know, coming up in my brain and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I started writing and stuff like that. Now for the voice acting, that started with the whole being a theater kid in high school. I've always loved, playing video games and being a theater kid, and voice acting is something I've always wanted to do on a professional level, but I'm still kind of like holding myself back a little bit because none of these things that I'm mentioning are on a professional level. So I like to call them more like passionately practice hobbies, but I would like to get on a more professional level at some point. So for voice acting, I have been doing for about, I want to say 2 years now. And that started from doing a lot of voice impressions. And I think it's kind of like the more common thing, like, you kind of feed off of the praise and the compliments you get from other people, and they're like, oh, are you a voice actor? Like, you should try, you should do it. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So a lot of the projects I've done are like very tiny, very baby projects. I remember one of them was for this one like motion designer, but they're not on YouTube anymore, and I did a comic dub for Harley Quinn, and that was probably one of my favorite ones. Any other ones have been more for anime dubs, but they're all like very tiny. They haven't been released yet. So
okay, you gotta keep us updated whenever those animes come out and everything. Like are you
absolutely.
doing it like the actual English dub, or are you doing, because English isn't just the only language you speak, so like are you doing them like also like in Spanish or?
No, they're all in English.
Okay.
I'm not fluent in Spanish. I would like to be. I'm not fluent in Spanish or nor Japanese, but I have no issues speaking them if given a like translation. But I would be comfortable doing either of those.
It's just like another plan that you have to place on the road and everything on your way of voice acting in those different languages, because like, you know, voice acting is like tough enough to begin with, but to like also deal with like multiple different languages, like that's a lot of talent. But from what you've sat there and you've told us, you have a lot of talent and a lot of magic inside you, Bunny. So I do believe that you can sit there and you can do this. And with that, we are going to jump into Bunny's movies. Finally, we're jumping into this one because, god damn it, after everything that you sat there and said, I could definitely sit there see, this is you. This film, Mr. Holland's Opus, you definitely sat there and saw yourself in a lot of these kids, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you caught me.
Why did you pick this film? What was like your first thoughts when, I don't know how you were introduced, you know, to this movie, but yeah, what were your first thoughts and everything, and why is this so close to you?
So my first movie, Mr. Holland's Opus, this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time because, well, music is one of my passions, and it reminded me of all of the things that I kind of the struggles that I've been through in my life, with like all of the struggles that these kids have been through, that Holland has like envisioned, like has experienced with them and has come to know, has kind of touched my heart. And he kind of bonds with all of them through music. And music is, to me, is very healing for the soul. You can, it's almost impossible to kind of, how do I explain this? Oh my gosh, I'm having a word bumble because I'm getting so passionate about it. It's almost impossible to say that anybody there's anybody out there that like hates music, because it's literally in everything that we do, you know? And that's why I love this movie so much, because he has transformed every single student he has encountered with music, even despite the arts programs being shut down, even though that the music program is being cut, he still tries, and he still tries to prevail over everything. And even as the kids grow up, they never forget him. Like, I know myself, I'll never forget my choir teacher for anything.
So your choir teacher, I guess, is kind of like almost like the Mr. Holland. He was the one that, or she was the one.
He was the one, yeah. He's that way younger. Yeah. Way younger for sure. But I definitely saw Mr. Holland in my choir teacher. If there was someone that didn't care about choir or music, he always had a way to make them care.
He wasn't one of those teachers that it's all like, I'm just being paid to sit there and do this. It's like, no, he generally
right, yeah. And for me, I definitely gave a shit. That's why I took those classes. I'm just like, you better not. This is not just a free credit. You better take this damn class. Because I'm also very passionate about education too. And I think that's also why this movie spoke to me so deeply. Like even at the end too of the movie, one of my favorite characters, aside from Holland himself, was I think her name was Gertrude.
It was his
She was the one
first
who played the
student.
clarinet.
Yeah, the one he was kind of mean to at the start, but she was the one that he had to learn to have compassion for.
Right, like
and to give him time.
She was a test subject, pretty much. And then she ended up being the governor.
Yeah.
Of the state, and that even though he's trying to write an entire symphony for himself, which they end up playing at the end, and that made me cry. Oh man, I'm getting all choked up thinking about it. That his legacy is more than just the symphony that he's trying to write. It's the lives that he's touched along the way. That he has so much more of an impact than he'll ever realize. And that's why I love this movie so much.
It is most definitely a very beautiful film. There were like aspects of this film that kind of also remind me of Forrest Gump. Whereas, Holland didn't really come across anyone super famous. I guess outside of Gertrude, she would later become a governor or governess. But like, it's how he reacts to the times and how the students react, or how his students represent also to the times. As he's going through everything from the 50s and even like the news of John Lennon dying and just how he takes that. And then his reaction to his son, like, oh, you would never know. And it's like how the son reacts to that. It's a very beautiful film in which how it does. There was even, I think it was the 60s. No. It had been the 70s, because I think right after Gertrude, it was the football player that he mentored, that he had to help the coach out. And so it was the one afterwards where I believe he was like, he knew everything about music, but he didn't appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Now, was he in the auditorium? Was he the one that was really fugly looking?
I think
there was one dude. It's like hello, Mr. Opus. I was like, man, that guy is ugly. I was like, who the fuck was him?
Think so.
I was like, God, drugs and alcohol really screamed at this kid.
No, actually, I do. I think that was the one. I think even one of them ended up passing away as well, and that it's just hurt. It was just, this was such a huge tug at the heartstrings, this movie. And even going through so many historical key moments of American history as well. And it's like, imagine putting all of this in 2 hours. Who are you?
So I'm not gonna lie.
Steven, please.
You film, and I saw the movie. Like, I saw the runtime. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a 2-hour fucking movie. That's all. Like,
it doesn't feel like it though when you sit and watch it. That's the fun part. All of these movies I love so much, they're so long, but they don't feel like they are.
Yeah.
And I have ADHD. Y'all know I can't sit through shit, but like
I have a bit of a focus issue, but like a lot of people tell me apparently I have a better focus when it comes to like watching like silent cinema, because most of them are all like, yeah, I can't watch that if there's no talking, there's no dialogue, and I'm over here, it's like, look, I tried watching a 3-hour cut of Metropolis. I had to stop halfway. My brain was taking in way too much fucking information, to the damn point I was all like, I need a break, I need an intermission, but yeah, Mr. Holland's, I did not pause that movie whatsoever. I sat there in my bed and I watched it and I cried. And deep down I'm like, God damn it, Bunny. There's so many wonderful moments in this film that I truly do adore. And especially when it gets to the crescendo of they all play a symphony and you have the governess show up, and it's like, oh my God. It's like, and she's like over there, she still kind of plays. Yeah, it's all beautiful. And so far from which like you've told us about you, I'm all like, Yeah, that's Bunny. That's Bunny right
Yeah.
there. It's Bunny's school, you know, just she didn't hop
No
through all
one would
these different
think that
decades.
that's like a movie that I would like, but then it's like when you hear everything else about me, you're like, oh yeah, never mind, that tracks. Like, I get it now. I
it,
understand it.
and speaking of tracks, we're gonna make some tracks with Bunny's second film. Do you want to do the honors of what your second pick is?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my second film is Baby Driver, directed by Edgar Wright, and the genre is action thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie.
Edgar Wright is an amazing director, and this film, like, I did not sit there and think he could actually pull this off. I grew up watching this man do musicals and not musicals, do comedies and horror, you know. And then of course I watched Spaced. You know, I've seen all this stuff before. I've seen Baby Driver. I've seen bits and pieces of Last Night in Soho, and I was like, oh, maybe he has something. I watched Baby Driver, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is the Hitchcock of our generation. Like, do you believe Alfred Hitchcock? In case if the last name did not throw, do you sit there and believe that he is our Alfred Hitchcock? That he can do almost any genre and make it work?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, didn't he direct what's it called? Scott Pilgrim too?
Yes, yes. So
people love Scott Pilgrim. It's a staple.
Horror comedy. He's done action thriller, and he's done like technically a comic book that is based off of the music scene and the video game culture. So yeah, like a lot of his films have touched so many different, even the slacker culture, even though that was kind of like way past his time. I think like the slacker stuff was more 90s. So I don't know, maybe that was like his time, and he did that in space with the TV show. But yeah, why did you pick Baby Driver?
I picked Baby Driver. Well, okay. So surprise, guys, there's another like musical connotation to it. My bad. So not only did I pick Baby Driver because of the kind of the adrenaline rush and the action packed thrill that it gives, but I also I always have to look into everything with a deeper meaning. And the thing that caught me the most before anything in this movie was the fact that almost like 90% of this movie is synchronized with the music. And that alone, as a music kid, that sold me. That alone.
Diegetic audio.
Oh,
that's what I learned from one of my audio professors.
That's what it's called.
So like throwing back to another episode that I did with Miffed, definitely check that episode out, folks. When they did the scene in The Knight's Tale, which you've seen that movie, right?
I don't think so, but I've heard of it.
With Heath Ledger, and it's kind of like the Canterbury Tales.
Oh, that I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. But I've definitely heard of it.
There's a scene in there where essentially they're the people who are there while they're getting ready to joust, and like the people are like kind of like doing like this cheer and everything. They're doing like, you know, this rhythm hit of bang bang clap, bang bang clap, and as they're doing that, the film starts playing Queen's "We Will Rock You." And so it's using the actual sound effects, you know, in which the actors are doing, and it's feeding into the music. So it's like it's a diegetic audio. I believe. Hopefully, my audio professor isn't listening to this. Otherwise, he'd be like, "Well, that's not the actual definition of it." But you know what? You're lucky enough to pass my fucking class. But yeah, that's like what it is. I picked that up in Baby Driver. A lot of their music and everything definitely syncs up with a lot of the action and the sound effects within the film itself.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's a term for that, because I was trying to think about what the right like term for it was, but that's I'm gonna remember that for sure. But that's what like drove me to this in general. Not just like the backstory. It's, I think, is, I don't want to say simple because I think that would be doing a disservice to the movie, but it's classic. Like, I think the backstory is classic. You know, he's a kid, has been doing crime, like that's all he knows, but he's trying to get away from it because he doesn't want to live that life anymore, and he's trying to run away with his girlfriend, like, to live a better life. Like, it's a classic one, you know. But everything else that ties into it, like his backstory when he loses his parents in the car crash, and he that's how he suffers from tinnitus, and then all of the music that comes into it, and all of his different those little iPods and his music players, and the, again, with the synchronization and the sounds and the intensity of the certain audios that also tie into his mood as well, that go into his tinnitus, like it makes my heart well up. I'm just like,
when
yes.
He's on the job, he plays banger hits when he's driving. But then when you start seeing him with his love interest, it's like, I guess you would kind of sit there and say Lady in a Tramp, because in a sense they are listening to, like, through the same thing. You know, she has one earbud in, he has the other, and it's always like this, sometimes classical, but it's always a very relaxing, a very loving, you know, kind of music.
He listens to the left, he listens to the right, and then they're listening in stereo.
Yeah, and one of the things that's, like, beautiful about it is when they do, like, the what is it, the oh my god, no, I'm forgetting what's the name of it, montage, when you're doing the montage of them falling in love and everything. I think it's absolutely beautiful that there's no line of dialogue almost. You know, it's just straight music. It's just straight music, and every single frame matters, and, like, how they do it, especially with how the music, you know, reflects it. It's none of that, like, it doesn't have like a song that it feels like it takes you out of it for, like, just a cheap laugh, or like a, like kind of scoffing, but it just works to the point that you believe in this little, you know, in this romance that the two young people have and everything. I'm trying to remember the actors' names. It is Ansel Elgort and Lily James. Those are the actresses. Never heard of any of these people. The rest of the cast I know, but, like, those two, it's like, I know Letterboxd, when I was gonna write a review for it, and I declined because I didn't want people to know what your movies were gonna be for this week. A lot of people sat there, said it was like The Fault in Our Cars, and it's like, oh, okay, so
The
I guess
Fault in Our Stars. Yeah, he also had a supporting role in the horror film Carrie, which was also turned into a musical, by the way, and it's really good. I suggest you listen to it. Sorry, foreshadowing. And he also played in Divergent. He's a really good actor.
He's also in West Side Story, apparently.
He's very talented.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not like, I've never seen this guy before, and he has such a baby face. So, like, when I, like, see it, it's all like,
no pun intended.
Yeah, Baby Driver, and I was like, this dude has such a baby face. Like, there's not a single ounce of facial hair or anything, and I'm all like, interesting. I'm gonna have to look into it, because apparently he was in the crime series Tokyo Vice, which I did not know. That's been like an American crime series that I wanna get into, but the rest of the cast: John Hamm, Kevin Spacey, Eliza Gonzalez, Jamie Foxx, James Bernthal. This fucking film is loaded. That was one of the things that kept my interest too in this film. It wasn't just like, you know, because I'm not really a car person, but I can enjoy a good car chase when I see it. Bullet is one of those ones that it's simple, but it works so well. But I'm trying to sit there and, like, really pick out Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx stands out against most of them, even though he's not even the main fucking villain.
He did, like, I think they also added him for that. Not only that I think they added Jamie Foxx in that film, not only for like for a laugh. I don't even want to say comedic relief. He is not comedic relief in that movie.
He's not
at
comedic
all.
whatsoever.
He gives me like an edge. He gives me a very like anxious edge, but not in a bad way per se. It's a good kind of edge, you know, like, oh shit, what the fuck's gonna happen next kind of edge. But it definitely gives a laugh, and definitely what this it gives that twist to the movie that I feel like it needed, for sure.
Yeah, he plays it so straight, and of course I love him in everything that like he's like done. I even like him in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, he played a bullied nerd that got bit by electric eels, and that's how he got his superpowers. It's like, and then they rectified that in the Spider-Man sequel. Yeah, you know, where like I don't think they even said he got bit by electric eels, but I think they made a joke towards it. But like, you know, I grew up watching this dude like from the Jamie Foxx show. I saw him as Django, which I think like, you know, that was really, really
Django.
good.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen that in so long.
That you do know that film's a remake, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because like apparently a lot of people are like, this is the most original movie I've ever seen. I was like, this is a remake.
No, even like, I know that. Like, I haven't even, I don't even think I saw the original, and I know better. I'm just like, okay, even I know that that's not an original. You think they're gonna put Jamie Foxx in an original movie of Django? Come on now. Let's be so fucking for real. Please. I love him to death. An amazing actor. But that is, yeah, they did a good job of making it feel original, but even I knew better. I'm not not that young. Come on now.
They just took the origin and they just changed it up a bit, because you know he wasn't a what was it, like crap, what was it, not a Confederate, he was a Union soldier in the original one, and supposedly carrying the corpse of his dead wife in a coffin, but you know, surprise, it's a fucking Gatling gun. You know, he was the Punisher before the Punisher for the spaghetti western scene. But yeah, no, like I grew up watching his stuff. I loved it. I see him in this film and I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be fun. No, he plays it super straight. You don't fuck with him. John Bernthal, I love John Bernthal and everything. He makes a great protagonist and antagonist, like what I think it's Chamberva said. Fox and Bernthal both great as protagonist and antagonist roles. Like, yeah, it feels like there's not a role that they can play that like they play it badly. And Jamie Foxx is into this. I was not expecting it. I was expecting maybe to give him a comedic punchline ending, but when he died, which, spoiler alert, but this film's been out for like almost 10 years, so you know.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, like, don't, you know, whatever, just go watch it.
Yeah, well, most people that watch this, they know spoilers. You know, spoilers are always going to be said, but him getting fucking impaled by some rebar, I was like, holy fucking shit.
Oh yeah, like, I wasn't like, even I've like watched this so many times, that still shakes the fuck out of me every time I watch it. I'm just like, oh my god.
I know, because it's like, really, like, this film isn't all that violent until close to Jamie Foxx, when they start doing like the meetup with like the cops and everything, and then like he's all like, you know, oh, that dude like arrested me, so he like opens fire and everything. Like, the film isn't nearly as gory or violent. Like, it's up to this point, it's just been some really, really good car chases that, like, to throw shade, it's way better than any of the Fast and the Furious films. At least going up until the third one. I enjoy Tokyo Drift better than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Tokyo Drift was really good, but yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. And then my mom loves Fast and Furious movies, but yeah.
I think the last time I cheered anything on for Fast and Furious was watching The Rock beat the shit out of fucking Vin Diesel. I was like, yeah, Rock, bottom that bitch. And like, you know.
Right? Like, I'll admit myself, like, because like my dad also, there's another reason why I like Baby Driver that I forgot to mention. My dad is a huge car guy. I was not as passionately as he was, but I love cars. Because like I would always help him, you know, clean his car every Saturday morning, and stuff like that. And you know, I love car movies. I've like we would watch them together all the time. So, but I never got to like watch this with him, obviously, because he passed away way before this movie was even made. But that's also why I like this movie so much, because, you know, I've always liked the edge of like, you know, the car chases and stuff like that. My dad was a fucking psycho ass driver. Just want to let you guys know that he was a crazy ass fucking driver. Like, he was going 120 on the highway and shit. Like, he drove from New Jersey to California in 3 days.
Oh my Lord.
Nonstop. Yes, nonstop.
I've had family members that kind of drive almost in that same way, and that's when I still have that oh shit bar where even if the person's driving normally, I was like, I'll just hold on to it, and they're like, I'm not going that fast. It's all like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh shit. And
he would do like crazy donuts, blasting his music in the car, and like doing donuts in like a random parking lot that's empty and shit, going absolutely insane. So like this movie just kind of like also gave me a little bit of nostalgia too when I saw it, and I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of my dad. Crazy bitch. Love him though.
Well, that's great, because, you know, it's always great when like we kind of connect these films to like our loved ones and everything. My mom's like a sweet person, but believe it or not, she's introduced me to so much horror. So like now when I watch The Changeling, which is about a man grieving the death of his wife and kid, and so he moves into a place that a dead child is running around, and it's all like, you need to help me, you know, find the changeling, essentially, you know, that the kid that replaced him in life, because just because he was born with I think it was like a polio or something like that, and his dad drowned him because like the dad was greedy and like it's
all right.
Not like it's not Casper the Ghost fun. Like this is some dark, you know, kind of gothic horror shit. But like, you know, it's like anytime I watch that movie, I think of my mom. But like, you know, my mom is like such a nice person, and people are like, that movie makes you think of your mom. It's like The Exorcist makes me think of my mom too. It's all like watching The Quiet Man makes me think of my mom too. It's like there's certain films that, you know, either it's something that reminds us of our loved ones or we're introduced to it. It's like that's just how we click with it, and it brings back those wonderful memories.
See, those kinds of movies remind me of like my stepmom, like the horror movies. Like I love those.
What's your favorite, I would say, subgenre of the horror, real quick, before
psychological
we tackle your
horror?
last film? You like the psychological?
Oh yes.
I don't know if you've seen it. The Exorcist 3.
That's actually one of my favorite genres of games too. People don't know that. I just don't stream it a lot.
Is it just because you'll scream into the mic and like, you know, the mic won't pick it up?
No, it's because have plans to do more offline content with it. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Like especially like J RPGs, like J horror RPGs.
Ooh, like so. Oh crap! What the hell's the name of that one series? Maybe you'll help me. It's the one with the camera and you're taking pictures of ghosts. Fatal Frame.
Oh, I haven't heard of that. I don't know actually. I was thinking more like Ebe. I don't know if you've heard of one, IB. That's a JRPG. That one's a horror game. Pocket Mirror.
Zero.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're treading the waters now that even I'm like, I'm confused. Huh? What?
I piqued his interest, guys.
I'm so out of this and everything. We're gonna quickly tackle your last one because we are almost running out of time. HadesTown, you hit me with a fucking musical. I researched this bitch and I'm all like, it's keep giving me a fucking musical about Greek myths, and I'm all like, all right, maybe there is something I am missing here, but I was like, I'll let Bunny take this away. What is HadesTown?
Okay, so HadesTown is a sung-through musical based on Greek mythology. And so it's a musical that tells a version of the ancient Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Eurydice is a young girl looking for something to eat, goes to work in a hellish industrial version of the Greek underworld to escape poverty and the ice cold. And her poor singer-songwriter lover Orpheus comes to attempt to rescue her. The story is told by an ensemble cast that takes you to hell and back, quite literally, from the workers underground, helping Orpheus find his way to a trio of women known as the Fates.
Interesting. No lie, looking at this cover right here from I guess it's the Broadway promotional photo. I thought there was a book. I was like, did she throw me a book too? Where did you find this? And I can sit there see there's been numerous productions going all the way back to 2016. What's also your favorite, I guess, production of this?
So my favorite production, by the way, it is a book as well. You are right. That is by Anais Mitchell. This is the mastermind behind it all. I would say, I think, I want to say I think it's 2016? I have to double check. I think
that's the off-Broadway.
It's production. The one with Eva Noblezada and Reeves Kearney. That is the one.
I'm not seeing that on Wicca. Oh, the Reeves Kearney. That's Canada 2017.
It's not. Well, I mean, it was.
Unless maybe they could have sat there and borrowed the same actor from like a different production.
I'm trying to double check. I'm also looking as well. God, it was just so good. This musical. So if anybody knows Hamilton, right? It's, if you know what sung through musicals are, and the first one that people usually think of is Hamilton. Well, before it was kind of Hamilton, because they were kind of made around the same time, but HadesTown was a little bit before that. And it's 2.5 hours long, but it's another one of those that you will want to sit through if you do actually like end up listening and watching, because there are bootlegs. It's, that's a shitty part about musicals. Well, I mean, I don't want to say shitty, but it's like, that's kind of what you gotta do. You gotta watch vicariously through the shitty cameras of other people.
I was about to say, I think the last time I've ever seen a musical, like for me being at home, and this is gonna make me feel old as shit, was on VHS. It was Cats. Like, I think it was the 90s Broadway thing. Yeah. So here we go. I fucking feel old here. Cats and everything. That was the last time. So I didn't even know that they would even sit there and do musicals on DVD or streaming. Well, no. Like, I do know, like, there's the there are some streaming sites that do that and everything, but something of this, it's like, this feels like this is something you have to see it live. The Rockabilly Horror Picture Show. You mean the Rocky Horror? Or is that its own thing too? Rockabilly. I can't keep up with these parodies. Yes. Oh, Rocky Horror. Okay, yeah. So I know Rocky
Horror. Yeah. Oh, I love that musical too. Wait.
I'll go even farther back. Sound. Well, not The Sound of Music. I really can't stand The Sound of Music. A Star Is Born and
oh, I love A Star Is Born.
Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain is my favorite musical, only because it's a film-based thing. Because it's about the transition between actors that were big stars in the silent picture era and their struggles of trying to make it in the talkies. And it's like a really, really good comedy. It has oh my god, what is it? Princess Leia's mama is in it, I believe. I think it is, or I could be wrong. But yeah, like when it comes to musicals, I like those and everything, but I'm always down to sit there and learn a brand new musical.
I found it. It was the 2018, because I know it was 2018, but it was actually the London run of HadesTown. It was performed in the Olivier Theatre and the National Theatre in London. It ran from November 2018 to January 2019. But they also went to they extended it also to Broadway as well. And that cast was my favorite for HadesTown. I had to I've been sitting here also looking it up as we were talking. So that one had, oh my God, it was so good. Okay, it had Patrick Page, Reeves Carney, Eva Noblezada, and Andre DeShields. Andre DeShields got recognized by NYU for this musical, by the way. And NYU was one of my dream schools that I've always wanted to audition for, but never did because I was too much of a little bitch to not audition for it. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, not gonna lie.
That's
but
going in a
one
clip.
day.
That's going in a clip.
But oh my gosh, this cast was probably like my favorite. And if you ever listen to it, this is the cast that you will hear on Spotify.
Oh,
this is the one that I like to listen to on Spotify. So there's two.
This is the de facto cast that you should listen.
This is the original cast. This is the original Broadway cast of HadesTown. There are there was like the OG play like cast, and then this is the like official, if that makes sense. I'm gonna give you the playlist to listen to because I always like to listen to the playlist of the musicals before I actually watch them. It keeps me immersed. I know it's weird, but like so that's what I always like to do whenever I'm like before I watch like a bootleg or anything like that. Is I always watch, like I always listen to it first and then I watch it after, because it's a sung through musical anyways, so majority of it you're going to already hear, if that makes sense.
Okay. I had to look up Reeves Carney real quick because it's like that name keeps sounding familiar. It's like, why is that name? I was like, now I know. He played Dorian Gray in the Showtime series Penny Dreadful. That was a horny man. That was a very, very horny man in that series. And also, too, he played Riff Raff in the Fox musical remake of Rocky Horror Picture Show, the TV thing. I didn't even know he played Riff Raff. I was like, oh, okay. And he apparently played Spider-Man in the Broadway musical Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
I love his voice.
Parker to me.
I
loved him as Dorian. I thought he did really, really great as Dorian. But okay, I'm definitely gonna have to check this out then, because you got me hooked. Because Penny Dreadful is one of my favorite series ever. I hate how it ended, but oh fucking well. But yeah, no.
So fun fact, him and Eva Noblezada are still together as far as I'm concerned.
Ah, really?
So in the 2018 show, in the 2018 cast, Eva Noblezada and Reeve are Eurydice and Orpheus, and they actually are together in real life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because she divorced her previous husband like the year. She was probably like, oh, like, I'm gonna kiss Reeves, and I don't, I'm not gonna let no lawyer stop me. Like,
I didn't actually. So that's something new to me, because I didn't know that they were still together, but they are, and that makes me happy. Not gonna lie, because I always thought they had the best chemistry. Sorry.
We are gonna open up now for the Q&A, folks. So if you guys have any questions, do drop them down in the chat real quick, and I will read them off for Bunny. The questions can be about the about the guest or about me. Questions, we'll take them and everything. I'm trying to remember the questions that I had for you and everything when it was coming to talk about like your singing and everything, and now my brain is completely shut down, and I'm all like, what the hell? What was those questions I was supposed to have? I should have wrote them down. I should have just trusted myself. But any questions that you guys have for Bunny, drop them right now. Chamber Sutter says, not too much in musicals. I'll get bored unless it's Nightmare Before Christmas, because I love the songs and everything. I feel like that's like an easy musical for anyone to get into. Nightmare Before Christmas is like the bomb. I don't know anyone that hates that movie.
That's a staple. Like, you mix two of like the best musicals together. Sorry, holidays, not musicals. Sorry, I'm still thinking about musicals. Oh man, I'm still thinking about them.
But
guys.
you put it in a musical nonetheless and everything, like a dark. I wouldn't call it like a horror musical, but it's more like a dark fantasy.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Huh. I like that a lot.
That's the worst time for a nap alarm to go off. I do apologize. Oh my god. What bun doesn't know I record myself singing Jack Lament in French and English? Ooh.
You already did that a long time ago, actually, so I did already know that.
Oh, well, all right. Well,
yes, I pay attention to you guys. I know.
just shot that down real quick. She's like, I listen. Thank you very much.
Wow, it's almost like I know you guys. Crazy.
If no one else has any questions, we can sit there and we can easily wrap up tonight's episode. Which thank you again, Bunny, for accepting this. I always feel super grateful when people want to be on this show because like I'm not interviewing Tom Cruise or Eva Mendes or I don't know any other big name that like quickly burnt out. But like still like it means an awful lot that like I can get you guys on here and we all bond through our community through the love for cinema.
Yeah,
which has always been my mission with this is to get communities to bond over, get to know one another. And it's it's either you're gonna celebrate one film or you're gonna shut on another.
right.
There is no in between. It's something like that. Where can the people find you on the socials?
I am on Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter, and on Blue Sky as well. All Bunnibana, Bunnibana, not banana.
Not bunny banana.
Stream about 5 days a week, usually Sunday through Thursday. I like to take the weekends off for myself. And I will be debuting on my birthday on March 10th. But by the time that everyone sees this, it will be the end of March. So at the end of March, I will be doing charity at the end of the month for the Melba Foundation in honor of Music Month, which is in March. The Melba Foundation offers scholarships to students lacking funding for music lessons and education with an emphasis on underdeserved communities. And I will also be kind of tying into celebrating Selena's death as well and celebrating her legacy as well throughout that time.
Okay. What's your favorite Selena song? I know that's gonna be a hard one.
No te queda más.
No habla español. That's probably as far as I can get. I gotta check that out. If you send that to me, I will definitely sit there and check that out. I like listening to new music too. I've been doing my best to listen to new music this year because I can't be the old Grandpa Grouch that stays listening to fucking 90s music.
I mean, hey, the classics.
I mean, 90s music's great, but sooner or later you run through every damn year and you're like, I need something new to listen to. Like,
that's okay. That's okay.
Folks, you can follow me here on Twitch as well as the rest of the socials: Instagram, TikTok at the Gothic Storyteller, YouTube at the Gothic Storyteller. You can read my movie reviews. I usually tend to drop some of the guests' movies right after the episodes on Letterboxd. That would be James Howe without a O, it's a 0. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Some reason I couldn't use my normal one. I had to add a letter or a number. Algebra was not my strong set too, so I don't know what numbers and letters actually are, and I'm a writer. You guys can also support the podcast by supporting the Ko-Fi page that is under the Gothic Storyteller. If you guys sit there and subscribe, it's only $5 a month. You guys will get this podcast 1 week early before the rest of YouTube gets it. So hey, you get it 1 week early and everything. Thank you guys again for listening. And remember, a movie is a new movie if you've never seen it. Thank you guys again so much for watching. And thank you, Bunny, as well, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.